Anytime you're doing something new, it's going to be scary. And what most people do is nothing because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go, which direction to go. I tell people I don't care which direction you go. Just start moving in a direction. For example, in a gunfight, if the enemy ambushes you, they're probably going to ambush you in a scenario where they have the advantage. And so they're going to do it in such a way so that you're pinned down, you can't move, you can't go anywhere, or you're scared because they're shooting at you, or maybe you've lost some people or whatever. And most people, that fight or flight, well, there's freeze that falls in there also. Freeze, fight or flight. Most people revert to freeze. I don't know what to do. This is scary. Transition. I don't know where to go. It doesn't matter what to do. You just have to keep moving. I teach a leadership course out in California called the SEAL Leadership Challenge, and I use close quarters combat as one of the tools to teach leadership. And it's really about moving and maneuvering, and as you maneuver on the battlefield or through the room or through the building, your perspective changes. But if you sit still, your perspective is never going to change. It's going to stay exactly the way it is. When you maneuver on the battlefield, your perspective changes. Like, you see your team, the terrain, the enemy from this perspective, but when you move, 50 yards to the left or right, you're going to see the whole battlefield from a different perspective. Same thing happens in life. If you start taking action, I don't care what the action is, just start taking some action and start moving. Your perspective of the world of your life is going to change a little bit. It's going to change. Sometimes it'll change a lot. And so what a lot of guys do when they're doing this close quarters combat, they come into the room, they stay in what we call the fatal funnel. They stay like right in front of the doorway. So we found through training and in combat that about 2 feet inside the doorway is where 90% of the bullets land. Guys and girls, they'll come in, they'll go into the room, and they'll stop pretty much in the doorway or like 1 foot inside the doorway. And I'm like, why did you stop there? Why didn't you keep moving? Well, I was in the room and I didn't know, I got overwhelmed. Like, okay, well, don't stop right there because this is the worst place that you could stop. In a gunfight, if you stay where you are, the enemy, and you don't move, then the enemy is they're going to outmaneuver you because you're not maneuvering, and then you're just going to die. Movement is life. I like using the analogy of two bodies of water. If, let's say, you're out in the wilderness somewhere, and you're dehydrated and you're dying of thirst, and you come across two bodies of water. On one side, you have sort of a stagnant pond, and it smells terrible, and it's just the water's just still and not moving. And on the other side, you have like a babbling brook. Which side are you more likely to drink from? The stagnant water or the moving water?
The moving water.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe the stagnant water.
No, you were correct. Well, because the moving water, the movement is life.
Right.
The moving water, there's probably dead stuff and bacteria and terrible things in the stagnant water. I would never drink from stagnant water if I did not have all the proper filtration and to be able to kill everything that's in there. The moving water is much more likely to be cleaner water for you to drink from. Movement is life. So the same thing happens. If you get overwhelmed by life and you just never move, you're just going to die where you are. You may die on the inside, and they may not physically die, but you're going to die on the inside because it's going to suck the life out of your soul. So I just tell people to move. I don't care what direction you move. The more you move, the more you'll see what happens in these life transitions. You'll be able to see the world from a different scenario, from a different perspective. You'll see your situation from a different perspective. You start taking big movements in life. And the more you move, you may say, this is not the direction I want to go. Then you can change the direction and find out where you actually do want to go. But if you stay still, you're never going to improve anything in your life. You're just going to die stagnant in that, sort of swampy water of